Get ready to embark on an exciting journey for Joshua's promises. Hello guys, be all welcome to our channel, where we explore amazing biblical stories. Today let's dive into Joshua's life and witness how God's promises have come true in his leadership. Let's go. After the death of Moses, the people of Israel found themselves in the face of a crucial moment in their history. God chose Joshua to lead and guide his people to the promised land. With responsibility for his shoulders, Joshua faced challenges and uncertainties, but God encouraged him personally, saying, "Be strong and brave, because thou shalt make this people inherit the land I promised under oath to their ancestors." These words echoed in Joshua's heart, strengthening his faith and determination. Thus, in the face of the transition of leadership after the death of Moses, Joshua prepared himself to fulfill the divine plan and led Israel towards God's promises. Joshua, after receiving God's confirmation as Israeli leader, faced the challenge of organizing the people to cross the Jordan. With strategy and courage, he sent spies to the city of Jericho to obtain crucial information about enemy territory. During this mission, the spies were welcomed by Rahab, a brave and fearful woman to God. Rahab protected the envoys and declared his faith in the God of Israel, thus revealing the divine presence even among foreigners. This unexpected covenant strengthened the confidence of Joshua and the Israelite people, preparing them for the challenges to come on the journey towards the promised land. As they approached the banks of the Jordan River, Joshua and the people of Israel came across a great challenge, crossing the turbulent waters that separated the promise from reality. Faced with this imposing natural barrier, Joshua instructed the people to prepare, for something extraordinary was about to happen. At the right time, the priests advanced with the Ark of the Covenant, and when they touched the waters of Jordan, a miracle unfolded before their unbelieving eyes. The waters of the river opened in two majestic columns, revealing the dry bed of Jordan. With faith and fear, Israel crossed the river on foot, witnessing once again the supernatural power of God in fulfillment of his promises. To mark that unique moment and strengthen the memory of divine intervention, Joshua ordered 12 stones to be removed from the riverbed and erected as a memorial to the faithfulness and power of God. After the fall of Jericho, Joshua and the people of Israel faced an unexpected challenge on their journey towards the promised land. Upon conquering the city, internal tensions that threatened the unity of the people emerged. The victory in Jericho aroused the ambition of some Israelites, leading them to act on their own and disobey the divine instructions. This break of confidence and commitment to God resulted in the defeat in Ai, a small town that should be easily conquered. Frustration and disappointment took over the Israeli camp, revealing the importance of obedience and faithfulness to God. After identifying the sin of Achan as the root of defeat, Joshua led the people in an act of repentance and purification. Only after restoring his covenant with God and renewing his commitment to divine principles, Israel has again experienced victory over his enemies. The episode in Ai served as a painful lesson about the consequences of disobedience and the need to fully trust God's promises and guidance. After the fall of Jericho, Joshua and the people of Israel advanced with determination southern Canaan, where they came across new challenges and battles. The southern region was known for its resistance and imposing fortifications, representing a significant test for Joshua's courage and strategy. Trusting in divine guidance, Joshua led his army wisely and boldly, facing adversities that seemed insurmountable. In the midst of intense battles, God intervened in an extraordinary way, demonstrating his power and faithfulness to his people. Victory after victory was won in southern Canaan, making it clear that divine promises were being fulfilled under Joshua's exemplary leadership. Each achievement strengthened the faith of the people and consolidated the divine presence between them, thus marking another exciting chapter in the history of fulfilling God's promises to Israel. Following the consolidation of victories in southern Canaan, Joshua and the people of Israel are preparing to face the challenges of the promised land. At this crucial stage of their military campaigns, they are facing a formidable alliance between 5 Canaanite kings, determined to stop Israelite advance. The following battle was marked by bold strategies and impressive divine interventions. In the midst of the conflict, they witnessed an unparalleled miracle. The sun and the moon remained real estate in the skies, extending the day and ensuring Israel's victory over their enemies. This extraordinary event not only ensured military triumph, but also strengthened the people's faith in God as their protector and infallible guide. With renewed courage and confidence, Joshua led his troops to victory in northern Canaan, thus consolidating possession of the promised land according to divine plans. Following the conquest of land south of Canaan, Joshua faced the challenge of the equitable distribution of the land between the 12 tribes of Israel. With wisdom and justice, he established clear criteria for the division of regions, considering the needs and peculiarities of each tribe. The process of land distribution was marked by careful logistical and administrative planning, ensuring that each Israelite family received their designated portion based on God's promises to their ancestors. In addition, Joshua fulfilled the promises made to Caleb, a man of unshakable faith, who received a special inheritance due to his confidence in God's power and faithfulness. As part of this process, Joshua also established cities of refuge in strategic places, offering protection and security for those who needed shelter against injustice or revenge. The distribution of land under Joshua's visionary leadership not only strengthened unity and cohesion between the tribes of Israel, but also demonstrated God's continuous care and fidelity towards his chosen people. After the distribution of land between the tribes of Israel, Joshua gathered all the people in Shechem to solemnly renew the covenant with God. In a moment of deep reflection and gratitude, Joshua recalled the powerful deeds of the Lord in favor of Israel, from the liberation of Egypt to the conquest of the promised land. With humility and reverence, he highlighted God's unshakable fidelity by fulfilling each of his promises, even in the face of the challenges and adversities faced by the people. In Shechem, under the shadow of the mountains that witnessed so many divine blessings, Joshua summoned the tribes of Israel to commit to the Lord again, to obey his commandments, and to remain faithful to the established covenant. This solemn moment not only strengthened spiritual ties between the people and their God, but also reaffirmed the unique identity and sacred purpose of the people of Israel as witnesses of divine grace and power in the world. After the distribution of the land between the tribes of Israel and the renewal of the covenant in Shechem, Joshua found himself faced with a new challenge to maintain the people of Israel faithful to the unique and true God. Aware of the dangers of idolatry and cultural influences of neighboring peoples, Joshua devoted himself to instructing the people about the importance of exclusive worship of Yahweh. He warned of the risks of deviating from the path of true faith, remembering the bitter consequences that idolatry could bring. Through firm exhortations and practical examples, Joshua reaffirmed divine faithfulness to the promises made to the people of Israel and emphasized the need to remain firm in the covenant established with God. His last exhortation echoed in the hearts of the people, reminding them that the fulfillment of divine promises was directly linked to the obedience and faithfulness of the people. Thus Joshua ended his earthly journey as a wise and fearful leader to God, leaving a legacy of trust in the faithfulness of the Lord. At 110, Joshua dies after a life dedicated to the service of God and the people of Israel. His death marks the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in the history of the Hebrew people. During his last days, Joshua gathered the tribe's leaders to convey his last words of wisdom and exhortation. In a firm voice, he remembered the great deeds of the Lord in favor of Israel, from the liberation of Egypt to the conquest of the promised land. In his deathbed, Joshua urged the people to remain faithful to the only and true God, to reject the pagan idols and practices that could divert their hearts from true worship. His farewell was marked by words of encouragement and warning, highlighting the importance of obedience and fidelity as conditions to enjoy divine blessings. With tears in his eyes and a heart full of gratitude, the people said goodbye to Joshua, recognizing in him a righteous and fearful leader to God who left an invaluable legacy for future generations. Did you like this dive into Joshua's inspiring history? So don't forget to leave your like, share with friends, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Guys, thanks for following another video full of learning here on the channel. Remember, just as Joshua saw God's promises fulfilled in his life, we can trust that he will also fulfill what he has promised in our lives. Until the next video, stay with God.